Ain't that neat? The way she keeps the beat. That's our theme. Dialogue with Dozy. You're on the airways with us Monday night. Thank you all for being one of our loyal listeners, for being with us, for staying with us, for rolling with us. You know, we've been at these things now. Now we have, when I say we, I'm speaking of the collective. We have been doing this now for 6 years. This is the sixth year. Yes, last year we had a few off moments, but we've been doing this for 6 years, and it's only because of you. Let's see. Okay, I had to make this adjustment. It's only because of you, and we are so glad that you are with us tonight in Dozy Land. You are the ones who make it work, and we're so glad. All glory to God, and all appreciation to the Go Giga team, the two Toyas and Kia, my dear daughter Latoya, who's the primary instigator of all the great work that you see here. Well, it's the team, but she's the one who produces us on Monday night primarily, and we're just so grateful. Listen, got a lot of stuff to get to tonight. A lot of stuff. How y'all let there be a war while I was gone? For you all that didn't figure it out last week, let me thank my guest. Sister Bell last week was just outstanding. And Sister Bell was she came to me, and she'll be with us many more times. She came on the recommendation of Sister Edwina Bell, Dr. Edwina Bell, who was with us about 2 years ago. And Sister Bell was on with us last week, and she just did an outstanding job. We grabbed at the 11th hour. I was getting ready to get out of here. And I'm sure you know by now that last week's show we taped it a couple days before the show. It was an outstanding show, and she lent her passion, her professionalism, and just again, I thank you for making it what it was. While I was gone, how did y'all let Orange Madness start a war? Or was it a war? Mike Johnson says it's not a war. Senators have gotten together as usual and have acquiesced to the Orange one and given him the extended the War Powers Act allegedly, but because he was already engaged in a quote unquote war. But let's see what Mike Johnson says about a war. It's a few days old, but see what he says about it.
I think passage of a war powers resolution right now would be a terrible, dangerous idea for all the reasons I've just explained. It would empower our enemies, it would kneecap our own forces, and it would take the ability of the U.S. military and the commander-in-chief away from completing this critical mission to keep everybody safe. Iran has attacked 3 of our U.S. embassies in the last couple of days. Okay, those are sovereign territories of the U.S. They have declared war on us. I don't believe in the semantics. We've talked about the language this morning. We're not at war right now. We're 4 days in to a very specific, clear mission, an Operation Epic Fury, which has 2 components, as you know, that we have articulated over and over. The president has, the Commander of the Joint Chiefs, everybody has explained. 2 points. We had to take care of these ballistic missiles.
And Mike Johnson, you don't believe it's a war. And guess what? I, along with many millions of other people, don't believe anything that comes out of your mouth. You drink the orange Kool-Aid so deeply that you have compromised dignity, uh, spirituality, which you proclaim vehemently, and everything about you to acquiesce to orange madness. And so you have a polished speech, a way of trying to color this thing, but it ain't gonna work with us. We see right through it, bro. You're saying it's not a war and they attacked us. No, they did not attack us. We launched the first missiles. I wasn't that far gone. I was gone. I wasn't dead. And so we're in a war. And if it's not a war, then explain that, please, to those 5 families who had to receive the remains of their sons and daughters and fathers. A most touching scene. A little young boy going towards his dad's remains several times and backing up, just crying, not even 4 or 5 years old, and saying, "Daddy, Daddy," and his mother holding him. Explain that to them. Explain that to them. I think it was called retaliation because we slung the first shot. So here we are. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I'll let you make the conclusion. I don't want to be accused, as I've been. I don't want to be accused of trying to slant your thinking in one direction or another. But I want you to just examine the facts. Examine the facts. Are we in a war? Are we in a skirmish? Are we in a conflict? What are we in? And President Obama said it well the other day. It's you with this group, you just never know what you're going to wake up to. One day it's Venezuela, and traveling in the Caribbean, and one tour director told us, he says, when the clouds clear, you can see Venezuela. At least when we head back to the ship, you can see Venezuela. This was back in December. And I was saying, oh, Lord, no, I do not want to see Venezuela. That's when our government was shooting helpless boats, go fast boats, and claiming that they were carrying drugs, as if we had the police force to do it. That's why there was a major resignation from that division of the military's chairmanship. And so you just don't know. So now it's Iran. You know what? Your orangeness, if you really want to do something constructive, how about let's help a sovereign nation, Ukraine, who's being bombasted by the guy that you bow down to, as they try to march. Does it sound like Nazi Germany? Yes. It sounds like straight out imperialism. I want your nation, so I'm going to overtake it. Why don't we help them? If you're that anxious to engage in combat, why don't we engage and assist them? So now we're in another combat exercise. Another young man has died that was in that initial bombing at headquarters, where those other 5 service personnel perished, and the young man died on yesterday, as those other remains were coming. The other remains of our servicemen and women were coming back and being received by the president at that time. So it is just, you just don't know what's next. You don't know what's next. And let me share some things. I spoke to a person who was actually a former Navy SEAL, who said we are absolutely treading on dangerous waters because of the apparent blockade of Cuba. If you remember, to those of you who are old enough or who have studied history, you go back, and Cuba, all of that happened back then. The world stood tense for about 2 weeks while it was called the Cuban Missile Crisis between President Kennedy and Premier Khrushchev from Russia at that time. And so, if we want to make it tenser, and by the way, You can look at any news source, probably not the one that has the animal's name, the moniker of an animal, uh, a wild animal, I might advise. They'll tell you that Russia is giving intelligence to Iran about the movement of American uh, artillery and personnel. And so, what does your orangeness do? He says he picks up the phone, he calls Putin, and Putin says they're not, and he believes it. Yeah, I remember hearing something like that about 7 years ago when it was alleged that and proven that Russia had interfered with the United States election, and he asked him, and he lied right in front of all of us. Shook his head. No, he said, "Well, that's good enough for me." I really wish I knew what he had there. Well, let's get back to the subject. The subject is we're at war, and we two. Well, I hate to use the terminology, but two common thugs, heads of state, ours and the one over Israel, have combined together. Israel has been wanting to go to war with Iran for the longest, and all it took was a combination of these two people to get together and have the opportunity, and now it's happened. In Congress, where are you, man? Where is your, my mom was white, so I can't say what I want to say. What has happened to you? You have absolutely nothing, no strength. You just anything that this regime wants to do, you just acquiesce to it. Nothing. And we'll see when prayerfully we won't have to see the hard way as we see our service personnel come back in flag draped coffins, and then maybe your constituents will put the proper pressure on you, and you'll stop worrying about being primaried by this guy, and you'll make the right moral, ethical, and political decision, and put some handcuffs. Let's put some rounds. It's do as I please. Remember, he said, "I'm not going to be a dictator until the first day." And that's just what we're seeing in every measure. I want to give this guy any more props. That's what we're dealing with, Dozy Land. We're dealing with an out and out conflict. We're dealing with the war with Iran, and I'm wondering if we are this time really going to disable their nuclear capacity, which was lied about. I could use a good word to say alleged several months ago, but it was said that the nuclear capacity was knocked out. You and I knew it never happened. The intelligence got out that it was just an initial damage that could be easily repaired. Good evening, Ms. Linda. So listen, you got to vote. We didn't show up to the polls last week, and we lost. I was not around, but I saw Miss Karen. How are you? So glad to see you. Yes. If let's see, perhaps we specify GOP in Congress because the occupant of the Oval Office is afraid of the Democrats getting control. Well, kudos to Indiana for not having a special session and changing the ballpark. I'm going to talk about that a little later, and not giving them the right to change the redistricting is what I'm looking for, which normally takes place at the end of the decade. And you saw Texas started it, and of course, all these other southern states, and our state and our governor wants to fall in line because he wants to be well liked and respected by the orange one. So we're just hoping that we'll see a change, and not because it's one part against the other part. I've been accused of all of that. I'm just about common sense at this point. Since one party isn't in power, they have the Supreme Court, the Oval Office, Ms. Karen. They got the Senate and the House, and you see what the results are: utter madness and chaos, from sea to shining sea, and even over now into international areas. Hey, we like to travel. You can't even travel now. You have to be scared where you're looking to go because of the craziness that this regime has started. I want to kind of move around. So it looks like that was the first firing, the first loss uh, last week. First person lost their job or was repositioned and taken out of their their reign, where they lied and lied and lied again. You get that, FAMU, strike, strike, strike again. They lied and lied, and she lied again. Well, let's just look at some of the video of her being caught in lies and see how she responds to said lies.
I'm Kristi Noem.
Sources say the breaking point for President Trump when it came to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was this $220 million taxpayer-funded ad campaign featuring Noem galloping near Mount Rushmore. Senator John Kennedy pressed Noem about those ads during a hearing this week.
The president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly,
Did the president
worked
know
with
you were going to do
OMB.
this?
Yes,
He did.
yes.
Overnight, the president saying, quote, "I spent less money than that to become president. I didn't know about it." The New York Post also reporting Trump was not happy with Noem's answer this week when she was asked about her relationship with her advisor, Corey Lewandowski.
At any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
President Trump praised Noem's work securing the southern border, but she came under fire for claiming that Alex Preddy and Renee Good, two Americans killed by federal agents in Minneapolis, were domestic terrorists. Trump now nominating Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin to take over for Noem. He's a former mixed martial artist and business owner who's also a member of the Cherokee Nation. Mullin is already trying to bridge the gap, telling our Rachel Scott that Kristi Noem is his friend.
She was tasked to do a very difficult job, and I think she has performed the best she can do.
And President Trump is not firing Noem. He's now appointing her special envoy for a new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere involving a coalition of Latin American countries. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News.
So I think this must have happened Friday. When you're on the high seas, you kind of lose the count of days. But I did notice that I think this did occur on Friday. And yeah, that's right, man. Cherokee Nation. Right. So she, like her mentor, like her former boss, well, actually, she has not been fired completely. She's been demoted, reassigned, demoted. They are experts at deflecting. And I'm afraid that's what we're seeing happening and enough people on social media is pointing out that everything's a deflection to keep the mindset off of Epstein. Oh yeah, and I saw some of the juicy stuff that came out with that linked Orange Madness and very compromising situations on that. We'll talk about that on another show. But before those bodies got cold, Bishop, how are you, sir? Before those bodies got cold in Minnesota, she was already out and lying. There is absolutely no integrity. Listen, Pastor Paula White, and we respect you for being a pontificate of the gospel. But if you could just bring some truth and some honesty and some decency to the White House where you are serving, then your work is not in vain. If not, you need to get out of there and save your name if you can. I know you have ties to there. I know when things went south for you in Tampa, you retreated to Trump Towers, and that's where you did ministry. But you don't owe anything to lies. You don't owe anything to immorality. And now we're losing our people as a result of it. And I'm asking you to stand up and be a woman of God and stand on some integrity. Let's hear. There were several things, and I returned home this weekend to sadness. The services were being held for my mentor, Reverend Jesse Jackson, and also for Lil Papa, the rapper, who's close to our family, very close ties. And to see all of that was very saddening. But at the same time, very, very heartening to see some of the great speeches and oratory and love that was extended to the Jackson family from people from all over the world, But this is what Reverend Al had to say. I'll talk about the Jackson family later, but this is what Reverend Al had to say. I want to comment on this.
Many of us did not join the movements that sponsored us. And there was a breakout in 2024 called Negro Amnesia, where you forgot where you came from and forgot how you got where you got. Therefore, they're trying to take back everything you have. I asked Michael Eric Dyson, our prominent scholar, where in history is this? He said, we always go one step forward and two backward. Well, here we are now. The problem is not Trump. The problem is us. We are allowing ourselves to be lowered and our children to feel inferior because you don't have an I am somebody person. You got our artists calling our women bees. Our others calling us niggas. What happened to us? What happened to black and proud? What happened? I'm gonna vote. What happened? Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. What happened to us? We believed our way. And we had the faith to do it. And that's why my challenge to you is that we should do what Jesse Jackson did. Not look at what you can see, but look at what you can believe even if you can't see it. Sitting up here talking about, oh, they got all the power, we can't win. We gotta win. Because they put the seeds of victory in us. If we just nurture them and grow, Hakeem Jeffries be the Speaker of the House. If we keep on winning, we'll get the Senate back. If we keep winning, we can save health care for our grandmamas. If we keep winning, we can bring about criminal justice reform. If we keep winning, we can have 2 Jackson boys in the Congress. We didn't come this far to turn around now.
Reverend Al called it Negro amnesia. Negro amnesia. So there is this faction which says, why are we killing each other? When we complain about police killing us, when we lift up heroes like Colin Kaepernick, who sacrificed his career, and what a pitiful shame that the black billionaires of America didn't come together and give him a salary. It could have been almost like what do they call it? A franchise tag, where they average the top 3 quarterbacks and give that person that salary for the year that he's franchised. They could have franchised him for 4 or 5 years, the years that he likely had left of good career left, and they didn't. They left him out to corporations to throw crumbs, whatever they want to throw at him. And I was in discussion about that, and it was raised to me, well, what about us killing each other? Hey man, that strikes close to home for me. You don't have to tell me about us killing each other. I lost a nephew to that. But let me tell you this. We trust our law enforcement not to kill us. We just went to the State House, to Tallahassee, a month or so ago, and the bill is pending before the entire legislature, and hopefully the governor will sign it. It'll pass to give the Groveland for an unprecedented settlement for the first time because of police murders. Will McCall personally shot and killed one of those boys, and a mob of 1,000 shot the other one 400 times. And now the state of Florida is trying to do the right thing. What's this? 60 years later, whatever got into them, whatever got into the governor's mansion to make him kind of push this along. But we trust not to be mistreated by policemen. You don't have to tell me about us killing each other. You don't have to tell us about us. Why do other people come over here, other companies, other groups come over here, other nationalities, and do well? We were brought over here against our will. We built this nation. This nation was not the people who occupy power now. That's why you see all of these laws being repealed, the civil rights law and all of those. What was supposed to happen in 2032 or 2036 is now estimated to be 2032, when Black and brown people will be the dominant people in this nation. And so the architects of Project 2025 have escalated, and they whatever the purpose was, they won the election. And so they're on a fast track to strip any possibility of power. But let me just throw some of these facts out to you who say that we always want to hand out, we always want to blame the man, we always want to point a finger. Roswell, right? We were on our way to doing stuff, even after we were promised us 40 acres and a mule and didn't hardly get it. You remember Roswell? You remember Black Wall Street in Tulsa? Some of the other ones that's not as known. Oscarville and Forsyth County, Georgia, where they were just like Groveland. There was an accusation of bothering a white woman, and a whole battalion of Black folk were killed as they were thriving. It was a thriving community, very prosperous, doing well. The Springfield riot of 1908. Go back and look at that, and look at how we were really trying to do well. The Memphis Massacre, that's a name, that's a city for you. 1986, Memphis, Tennessee, Black mob unprovokedly, almost like the post-Civil War, jumped on and killed 46 African Americans who had been Union soldiers and who were on their way to helping the community prosper and to become independent. Need I say any more for right now? It's not like we've sat around. It's not like we wanted to be in ghettos. It's not like we wanted to be in barrios. It's not like we wanted to be on reservations. And I'm talking about my Latino brothers and sisters and my indigenous American brothers and sisters. It's not like that's what we wanted. That's what we were relegated to because of economic conditions. Wilmington, North Carolina, thank you, Mac. The land could go on and on. Just Wikipedia or Google it. It can go on and on. We were stripped when we tried. So let's not act like we set aside and we're always wanting handouts. I make the point, and I am not at all coming against Reverend Al. Thank God for him. We bless God that we still have a leader of his persuasion. Thank God. But for all of those who pander to the right side and talk about standing up and being not wanting a handout and latching up your own bootstraps. Heck, you got to have straps to latch up around the boots. I'm gonna leave that right there. That frustrates me. And if anybody is on and want to discuss that, I'm willing to dedicate a whole show to that because it's a matter which disturbs me. But I'm glad Reverend Al brought it up. We do have accountability. I was told, why take down the Confederate statues? Just put up the African American statues and the indigenous statues and the Latino statues and the Asian statues and of people who have done well. Well, why would we want to leave that history up? And they say, well, just leave it up and leave the facts. Well, you can leave the facts. And I can tell you, I'm a recently retired educator. This generation is not ready to just read the facts. And if they read the facts, they're not going to have the contextualization to know what's wrapped around them and everything. So yes, they do need to be explained. And yeah, let's go on before we're a little late to the break, but just a second. I want to talk about something that has affected many of us in the last 24 hours. Me over the last week, I've been through, with the time changes that we went through in America the last 24 hours, I've been through 5 time changes. 5 time changes in the last week. I looked at my watch. I didn't know what to think of it. My phone, I don't know when to trust it. Is it connected to the internet? Is it not? Is it up? Daylight savings time happens to be a controversy this nation has talked about, and the U.S. Senate has already passed a bill that would make daylight savings time year-round, but the House has not approved of it. The House has not switched and made it happen. And I think we have a little poster to show some of the where America is on this. Yeah, you see, and that may not be the most updated information, but it is in everything that I researched over this issue. America wants to have either let it stay as it is, where we're switching back and forth, or go to daylight saving time so we have more sunlight. The medical community wants to have more sunlight. They are proponent of permanent standard time. Those who are against it say that we need to reduce. We need to have dark. We need to have some evening and nights. And some say that it causes heart attacks and strokes and fatal car accidents. I just don't know where that comes from, but just something to think about. Yes, a poll taken last year says 48% prefer permanent standard time, and 19% want to keep the current alternating system. Nobody wants to go back to pre-daylight savings time. And there's 20 states that have passed laws that support a permanent daylight savings time, and these states can't take effect without it first being a federal law. But just something to think about as we go hit the break. Daylight savings time. Tell me what you think about it or not about it. Be right back. Go Giga X, all of your digital needs, they got it. The Toyas and the Kias, they got you, man. They got you, sis. Whether it's web building or you want to do a digital platform, they got you. And I mean, they really got you. When we resumed the live broadcast about 4 weeks ago, and we had this long list of our brothers and sisters who went on, who passed on. And just like the Academy Awards, in fact, the Academy Awards, the Grammys, the Emmys, the BET Awards, the MTV Awards, any awards program that you want to dig up who does that, they should look at what the Go Giga team put together. As we had about 32 people, I think it was, who had passed on, celebrities, politicians, famous people, and there were some people close to us in the show that we ended that montage with. You ought to see how professionally and how upbeat it was handled with just the proper amount of care and grace. Go Giga X, man, they got you. They got your webpage too. We still have web pages, right? Yeah, they got them. They got you. Hit them up. Go get your ex. Hit them up and hit them up right now. Today, I don't want to do a dang dog. I don't want to do a are you serious? I don't want to do a what's the new one we got? Let me share this with you. Today, I want to do a shout out. And the shout out is to the Jackson family, the Jackson kids. What an outstanding job they did in putting together the life celebrations of an American, no, of a world hero, an international hero, Reverend Jesse Jackson. We talked about him several weeks ago. We dedicated a show to him. Whether you liked him or not, whatever you did, you cannot deny the good that he did. Was he perfect? No. But they did an excellent job of giving America an opportunity to say goodbye and for his family to appreciate the people, the dignitaries, the ex-presidents, everybody who came in whatever venue to say good night, goodbye to Reverend Jackson. And man, let me tell you, to everybody who, that was one of the things that I've heard, that Black fathers are not in the household, and I know that. Reverend Jackson, who grew up for much of his life without a male leadership in his household. Look at his children. Look at his children. You can talk about Jesse Jr. all you want to. He's still a fine young man and a great leader. Jesus said, he who was without sin cast the first stone. It's the same with Reverend Jackson himself. He and his sister Santina and all of them came together and put together an awesome celebration of the life of Reverend Jesse Jackson. And from the news conference that they had 24 hours after Reverend Jackson passed, and let me just step in and say the way they grabbed their little sister out in California and brought her on, Ashley, and just wrapped their arms around her, because Reverend Jesse Jackson was her father also. And they were just so, the intelligence, the compassion, the truth, no compromising. And a lot of people are saying, but now they were hypocritical because they said don't have political, and Reverend Jackson ran for president. Whatever you want to make out of that, I'm just talking about the celebration. It was so awesome. And by the way, it made the United States government look mighty, mighty petty. The same United States government that was willing to bring Charlie Kirk to the Capitol denied having Jesse Jackson's body lie in state. I wouldn't have asked them. I would not have asked them. They should have come, and that should have been automatic, but I never would have asked them. I don't fault Jonathan for doing that, but I never would have done it. They should have come to them and extended that courtesy. And let me tell you how that's done. Mike Johnson, the worm that he can be, cited that only U.S. presidents have that privilege, and the only way you can do it is that Congress has to approve it. Well, what the heck would it take for Congress to approve it? You approve all of the foolishness that comes out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So I don't want to waste time on that, but I want to say, South Carolina, man, kudos to you. You made our government look really bad, because you were the cradle of the South. You were where slaves were dropped off and bartered for, sold as if they were anything other than a human being. But you grabbed your favorite son and brought him and extended him and all of us, when you did that, the absolute honor of his life, to his family, by having him lie in state. And for the church that he lay in state at in Washington, D.C., kudos to that pastor and those leaders, because you just really showed our government just what they are. You can't shame these people. They have no galls, but decency will always rise up. But kudos, what a great job you did. When the itinerary came out, we said, man, this is going to be exhaustive. 2 days from 10 to 10 in Operation Push. Then when you changed it, South Carolina, Washington, then back, people's funeral, then a private funeral. No, that gave everybody an opportunity. And you had a private burial. That gave everybody an opportunity to share in with the life of Reverend Jesse Jackson. And we just applaud you all and appreciate you all. Yeah, Bishop, I agree. I totally agree on everything you're saying there. I totally agree. You're absolutely right. And thank you for commenting. Kudos to the Jackson family. Man, Jonathan Jackson, and we had him out to our ministry was behind the initiation of the Whiteside County NAACP when I pastored in Sterling, Illinois, and Jesse came out. Not Jesse, Jonathan, not Jesse Jr. Jonathan came out for us and spoke for that event. And who knew then that he would turn out to be the powerful orator that he turned out to be? And man, I just appreciate the way that family was lockstep together. And Jonathan, Jesse Jr., who's an orator of his own, got to see him up close and personal during the '84 campaign while in seminary there at Louisville. The bus left Louisville to go to the convention in Atlanta, where he was the chairman of all of those things. I saw his leadership as a real young man, and he's quite an orator. But when he saw his brother's awesome speech, he backed away and said he has already eulogized our father. Man, kudos to you all. And Miss Jackie, we love you for letting Reverend Jackson soar and be the leader to our community and to this world that God intended for him to be. We really, really appreciate it. Now, the one thing about all of it that I didn't like, and I'm not Tavis Smiley, and I'm not Beard Man. What's his name? I can't even think of his name. Professor Cornel West, is it? Dr. Cornel West. You, for 4 years, for 8 years, every day, the two of you all dogged Obama out. You never said one thing about Orange Madness. It's 45, and we've yet to hear you speak out. I did hear you the other night on CNN say a few things about policy, but not to the level you spoke out every day against President Obama. But that's what we do. That's what Reverend Al was talking about in that clip. President Obama fell short in not recognizing and paying homage to Reverend Dr. Jeremiah Wright. Jeremiah Wright, an awesome preacher, a good man, a man who fully believes in uplifting his people, who baptized your children. And we understood you had to make political distance with him when you ran in 2008. He could have been brought back to the White House as you were exiting in the doors in 2015, but I understand you want to just have a clean break so that nobody could do anything to sully your presidency. Nobody could say you could. I would have, because I'm just cut a little differently. But he certainly should have been recognized, and there's no way in the world that you didn't see him seated on that front row at the House of Hope Church the other day. I hope you'll come out and admit that was poor judgment on your part. Hey, listen, a lot of things happened in the sports world this week. I like how smooth I made that transition. I'm running the show by myself tonight, so got to do those kind of things. A lot of trades came down today. Some will be official tomorrow. I think tomorrow is the official day, but they decided on a lot of this stuff. Max Crosby left the Raiders and has gone to the Baltimore Ravens, and to try to make the Ravens the intimidating defense that Ray Lewis participated in. I heard Stephen A. Smith say that Ray Lewis was so embarrassed by the Ravens defense that he would go to the University of Miami games and not even go to Ravens games. which is what he normally did. Well, you got an anchor now. You got a serious anchor in Max Crosby. I wish he could have gone to one of my teams, like the Chiefs or the Jags or the Steelers. But I don't mind to see my homeboy Lamar. Well, you know, we lived out here for long enough to see my homeboy. I wouldn't mind to see him help him get a chip. That was one of the bigger ones. Kenny Walker, I think that's the brother's name, who was the Super Bowl MVP. He went from the Seahawks to the Chiefs. Man, they're gonna have a team. He goes there with the offensive coordinators back, and when Patrick, my homeboy, comes back, that's gonna be quite a team. Maybe they'll come back and gel together too late this season when Patrick comes back. But you sure better be on the lookout for them next year. They're coming back with the vengeance for that throne. And hated to see Travis Etienne leave my hometown Jags. He went to New Orleans. I would have loved to see him. He was homegrown talent. He was drafted out of Clemson, and I really would have liked to see him stay. I don't know why they couldn't pull that off, but there were several issues that made that happen. Mike Evans, who wanted to be a Buccaneer for life, I don't know what happened there. He's going to the San Francisco 49ers. There were several other names of instance, large trades that were made, and we'll talk more about them on next week. So this is a result of free agency that we all wanted and we all thought needed to happen. Whenever I used to talk about the Steelers, everybody say, yeah, that was before free agency. Those teams stayed together because they couldn't go out and go with anybody else. If you got drafted by a team, you stayed there with them your whole career. Yeah, that's right. But still, there were other teams who played on the same thing and didn't have that dynasty of 4 championships in 6 years. Terrible towel tie. Go Steelers, go. So we'll talk more about that. This is what the other side of that looks like. The Cowboys engaged in another trade with the Packers. They have become quite cozy in making these trades, and so we'll talk more about them next week when more go down. It's been a hard transition for me. Usually about this time, I'm like really ready to watch the NBA. I start watching it in October as soon as it starts. I'm a total fan of the NBA, and I'm ready to get there. Yeah, well, Matt, Curt Flood is another one who somebody should have paid that brother. He should not have had to leave this nation and move down to Puerto Rico, bringing about free agency in baseball. They should take care of his family for the rest as long as his bloodline exists, because he paid the price to get free agency in baseball, and that concept eventually has gone to all sports leagues, free agency. But yes, can't ever forget or leave out Curt Flood. Usually about now, as soon as the Super Bowl's over, man, I'm looking to see that NBA schedule. Well, the first thing, I haven't really learned it used to be so simple, you know, that ESPN had, Wednesday nights and Friday nights, and TNT had Tuesday and Thursday nights. Now you don't know who has who. NBC, for instance, tonight, they've got the games tonight, but they're not on NBC. They're on NBC Sportsnet and Peacock Network. I hate games on these streaming services because you can't switch your TV back and forth. You got to come out of it and go back. But anyway, it'll all work out. Money makes this world go round. We'll get used to it. I'm getting ready for the NBA. But one of the great stories of the NBA, and I'm not a Celtic fan by any stretch of the imagination, but seeing this young man, Jason Tatum, back on the court and doing so well. Let's see how well he debuted.
Pritchard over Washington. Tatum with his first bucket. Tatum, butter. Cisse right to Tatum. Pulls it over Washington. Butter. Tatum for three. Butter. Timeout Mavericks.
Butter, yeah. That's like Mike Breen saying, "Bam!" That's what Jason Tatum did, and you still see he's moving a little tentative. Y'all remember how badly he tore his Achilles heel in the playoffs against the Knicks last year, and I'm just so grateful to see the young man back out there. And you think that Brown has been a terror. Now you can't double team him, Bishop and Mac. You can't double team him anymore. So you're going to really see him take off. He might be along with Wemby. That's going to be a great race to the finish line for MVP in the NBA. I saw Porzingis. I can't pronounce his name. Christoph y'all know who I'm talking. The tall, lanky guy. They got traded back from Boston to Atlanta, and now with my Warriors. We'll see what it looks like when he and Steph get on the court together. He's out, and that's a pretty decent looking team. He and Horford looks almost like Boston West. And then when Steph comes back on the court, we'll see if they are able to make some noise and be somewhat competitive. I think you might be right, Mac. I think we are looking at a Celtics and Spurs finish. I kind of got it. Now, Heat fans, don't tell them I said this. Don't tell my Heat brothers and sisters I said this. But it would be nice to see the Knicks there in the finish. But they got to get over. They've been punked by Detroit too much this year. The Heat has caught fire. It's going to be fun. It's coming down to a fun race. The Heat has now gotten themselves out of the play-in tournament. Dwayne Wade whispered into Bam Adebayo's ear, and that team has been different with Tyler Hero back. If he can stay healthy, man, they may make a little noise. I'm not saying it's time to raise up the trophy again, but who knows? Let's play this out and see what it looks like. It's going to be fun watching. I'm going to talk more about the NBA on next week. We're not ready to just give over to the NFL. We're going to talk some good NBA on next week. Steph will be back. We'll talk about him and what he's doing. But kudos to Jason Tatum and him being back. So glad to see him back and doing as well as he is. Listen, it was kind of a bittersweet weekend for me, getting back and seeing all the video of my mentor's services on the one hand, seeing the quality speeches, and I have a great affinity for oratory. One of the greatest pieces of oratories of my lifetime. I saw I Have a Dream. I'm old enough to have been there. Don't nobody crack on me. Yeah, I was back then. But also, I'll never forget Jesse's I Understand. That's going to be one of the greatest ones. But so many people had so many great things to say, great oratories over the weekend. But still, it was over our fallen leader who like Jonathan says, it is going from run, Jesse, run to rise, Jesse, rise on that great getting up day. But also for Lil Papa, and again, my shout out to Sister Bill, who came on with us just before we left, and as we talked about this issue of suicide amongst our young men and women, particularly in our community. And they had Lil Papa's funeral there in Jacksonville, and boy, they sure did it up. Let's look at some of the video. 5 minutes, Madam Producer, please, ma'am. Listen, I'll just say this, and we'll be through with. Well, I won't say I'll be through, but because we'll always talk about this young man and lift up his great works, because he did get out, but the pressures were apparently more than he could take. I saw a lot of videos beyond the funeral videos, and man, that sister sang at his funeral the other day. I can't think of her name. That's terrible. Wow, I can't believe I can't think of her name. But anyway, what a powerful ceremony of his life also. But for them to go back up and down out east, that's where I was raised until I was 13 years old, out east. And that was Florida Avenue back in the days. I think it's A. Philip Randolph Boulevard now. And for people to line the streets and pay homage to he and his family and his boys, that was yeah, Miss Karen. I'm trying to think of the Bishop. If you still on, who's the tall gospel singer out of Houston, Texas? I cannot think of her name. Somebody please help me. The tall gospel singer, the lady. She and Larry Jones had a radio program. But anyway, they lined those streets to pay homage to Lil Papa. I saw a lot of videos, and one video, and I'm not going to get into all of that, but I will be talking more about the issue of suicide in our communities. And I'll just leave it at this. Don't ever think that you are beyond it. Don't ever think that your children, your spouses, your loved ones are beyond it. Study, look at the telltale signs, and be ready to assist when you can. Amen. Can't leave us tonight with that. Won't leave us tonight with that. But I'm going to leave you with this. While we're away, we did see this. We saw several movies. It was almost like, I don't know, like we had been married for 47 years and known each other for 49 years. No, not J. Hud. It wasn't J. Hud. Yolanda Adams. My goodness. Yolanda Adams. She overheard Papa sing one of her songs on TikTok, or rap through one of her songs on TikTok. And she apparently was so enthralled by it that she came to the funeral, and man, did she let those pipes blow. She blew it. Go back on YouTube and check it out. She blew. That's what I like about how we came together to say goodbye to Jesse. That's how like a woman of her stature, a star of her stature, came back and ministered to her family and her community, and to Papa's family and community as he did. Gotta leave on a high note. While we were gone, we looked at a lot of movies. It was just, almost like Mark would say, we did the romance thing, man. We just did the romance thing. And we looked at a lot of movies. One of them was this one. You got to see this one if you haven't seen it yet.
My name's Sarah Rector. The state gave me 160 acres on account of my ancestors. And there's Olam.
Well, how do you know that?
God gave me the ears to hear it. Do you hear it, Blue? There's oceans down there.
Nobody but you, Lord.
I got oil on my land, and I'm looking for a partner to help me drill it out.
Bertrand Byron Smith, at your service. I look for oil, and I drill for it.
I was thinking 50-50.
We should have our lawyers meet. That's my lawyer, the Texas Handshake. There ain't nothing more binding.
We're in Oklahoma.
It goes double for Okies. Here we go.
Nobody but you, Lord. Nobody but you.
What's the damage? Well, this might be the end of the road.
Dude, give them so easy.
What's your guess? Is he gonna do the right thing?
We shook hands.
You may have to speak to him.
I don't know what to say.
God'll give you the words. We need money out of you. But how are we gonna get him?
Hi, I'm Sarah, Bert's business partner. Has Bert properly presented our proposition, ma'am?
You said y'all need to put in there $1,000.
We need 2,000, and we need it today. It's a partnership.
Got some real nice mud here. Hoping you might test it first.
I've never seen anything like it. That field you're sitting on could be the richest in all Oklahoma.
When I was
I'll give you $20 an acre.
I ain't selling.
You want a war?
You taught me things about my soul. Ain't nobody ever done that for me. Ain't nobody ever cared.
We're dealing with some mighty devious folks over here.
Then you need to fight for what's ours.
Is that why I see dynamite?
That's my oil!
No, it ain't!
I would not do that if I was you. You took the liberty of wiring up your wells just in case you wanted to do something foolish.
It's funny. When the land had only weeds and lizards, it was all mine. But when people found out there's oil lines, they started thinking it's theirs. All I'm asking is to keep what's mine.
Her name is Sarah Rector, and you're going to be hearing a lot about her.
You know, I've grown kind of fond of the kid. That's called a knight.
I can hop over your pieces?
That's right. Look at you. You're learning.
Just want to make sure before I take her queen.
Really?
Nobody but you.
So whether it's at a movie or if you have to pay as my cable system, I got back and started my cable system, you have to either rent or buy it. It is well worth the rent at least. And it's a family movie. It's highly inspirational. And I would just recommend that you take time out and check out Sarah's Oil. It's got, Miss Karen, it's an awesome flick, and it's got so much going on with it. So many things are being dealt with it. If you rent it and it's not worth it, see my people. They'll pay you for it. I ain't gonna tell you who they are, all right? Okay. All right, listen. We gotta get out of here. But Bishop, I know, I bless you, Miss Linda. Listen, Bishop. I know we've talked about you working on the cruise ships, and I'm gonna bring my cruise agent, man. And let me do this before we get off the air. We got off of a cruise in December, and we were back 2 days. And she called. She says, "Dozell, I know you just got off. You guys just got back home, but I've got to give you this deal that's out here. You got to look at this deal." And we looked at it and we went. That's where we just came back from. What a great time. I ain't giving you no free advertisements unless you carry our show, Celebrity. But what a fine product you guys are. We talked to her last night. I ain't gonna tell you nothing else about it. Listen, Bishop, we talked about you coming on, but I'm gonna get you, because we know that you did time working in the cruise industry. We're gonna get you and our cruise agent maybe in the next couple of weeks as we approach the summer, and have you come on and talk about that, if you would. Miss Karen, it's so good to see you tonight. Bless you. Hope to see you in the future. Man, you've been with us since we started. When I took a camera, Facebook Live camera, and said, who wants to see somebody do Facebook Live? And you have been with us ever since. For now 6 years. Man, thank you, bro. You and Bernard Mason and Phyllis Livingston and so many of you all, and we're just so grateful to do content. We couldn't do it without the Go Giga team, and I just want to shout out my daughter for her diligence to the work that she does to make us look as we are. As I see it, there's a lot going on. I had a discussion with some senior gentlemen this morning. With all of this craziness, you just got to understand, if it had not been for the Lord who was on our side, where would we be? Dialogue with Dozy, we are back at you next Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. YouTube, Facebook, catch it in. Easy.